Hi, I'm Dino Tripodis. Tonight on Whiskey Business, everything, everywhere, all at Oscar. It's our Oscar podcast from the Screening Room podcast, George Wolf and Hope Madden. Tonight on Whiskey Business. Hi, I'm Dino Tripodis, and welcome to Whiskey Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. Welcome. I can't believe it's been another year. Where did the time go?
Flies by.
Where did it go as we approach yet another Oscar podcast? Some would say a slam dunk this year. Some would say some surprises maybe this year. I don't know. There's a lot of factors that go into the Oscars, sometimes predictable and sometimes surprises, but who better than to discuss this than our annual podcast from the Screening Room podcast tonight. It's George Wolf, it's Hope Madden.
Hey!
Yay.
Glad to be back.
Yay.
Yes.
Nice to have you back. I'm excited to have you back. Collectively, this has been a tough year for all of us as far as catching movies. So collectively, we've seen a lot. None of us have seen everything. You two see everything and then some, as we know. I mean,
Overachievers.
all the time. You guys are watching movies. It's seemingly 24/7, which is good for the podcast tonight. But we're going to get into all of that. And before we get into the Oscar portion of the show, we're going to talk about Obstacle Corps as well and get an update on that because you guys have been dashing about everywhere as much as you can personally, but the film itself has been making quite the circuit on film festivals. And I know as of this podcast, when it drops next week, they'll already be there and gone, but you're on your way to St. Augustine, Florida this weekend.
We are, yeah. There are three competing festivals this weekend, actually. We're the semifinalists in the Renegade Film Festival in Atlanta, which is this weekend. We're also playing the Horror Realm, which is in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
And the St. Augustine Film Festival. And not to say that we picked St. Augustine because it's the nicest of the three, because surely the other are just charming, but they are paying for us to go. So
That's nice.
That's a deciding factor.
That is.
That's a deciding factor.
That works out really well.
John and I were talking. I said, they're flying them down to St. Augustine. I go, they didn't even give us gas money to go
Never.
to go to one of our festivals ever. But we'll talk about that. We got to do a little bit of business to kick off the show. For starters, who's doing the business tonight? Chip?
I'll give it a shot again.
Or Hansberry? Yeah, Chip. You need to keep doing it, Chip.
All right.
Practice.
Here we go.
All right.
Don't forget to check us out on all of your favorite social medias. We got Facebook. We've got Instagram, Twitter, and most especially of all, YouTube. We got and to check us out on the web, whiskeybusiness.pod.
No.
I ruined it.
So
Sober.
close. So close.
Here's Hansberry to wrap it up.
So close.
Whiskeybusinesspod.com.
Whiskeybusinesspod.com.
And then when you're on that YouTube account, make sure you smash that subscribe button.
That's it. Smash that
I've
subscribe.
said this before. I'll say it again. We suck at promoting.
Yeah. And don't forget to get alerts whenever
That's right.
we get a post out there. Go ahead. Yeah, ding that bell.
Right.
Click it. All right, Dino, I
I love how
know.
they do the business, and then when they just kind of trail off
Click
and
that
don't have
bell.
anything else to say.
Everyone has changed the podcast.
And also our guest bottle tonight is Rebel Straight Rye Whiskey. This is a lovely 90 proof straight rye. Why rye? Why not? That I think you kids will find both spicy and sweet and kind of bold at the same time. But I think it's pretty smooth overall. And at $19.99 a bottle.
Hey, you can't beat that.
All right. But it comes to us thanks to our friend Jeff Gage. Jeff Gage!
Yay,
Realtor
Jeff.
at Costing
Jeff.
Engage team at Remax One. Contact him at 614-638-8711 or email him at jeffgage@remax.net.
Yeah.
Yay, Gage!
Gotta get Gage.
We're taking his sponsorship money and we're spending it rather
Frugally.
Yes, we are. I think this is like our
work?
third $25 under bottle. That's true. Thanks to Jeff Gage. So we're stretching out your cash, dude. Which he will do as well if you're looking for a house.
Nice.
Well played.
Okay. And also the pizza tonight. George and Hope already had some Gatto's pizza. Got to get a Gatto's. Gotta get a Gatto's at 3420 Indianola Avenue, 263
good.
3737. If you want, they deliver. You can go dine in now. They're over on Indianola. They moved. They went into the old Wildflower Cafe space, and there's something cool about going to a pizza joint and eating in the joint, right?
Get it with the hot peppers.
Coming fresh out of the oven. So thank you to Gatto's for the pizza.
Would I be bold enough to say they're hiring drivers? Only because I not open the door and it's the owner.
The owner delivered the pizza.
They can't find some guy on Tuesday or gal to deliver pizzas.
Well,
Anyway,
I just had the
I'm
double
family
Italian
joint.
last week.
I'm just the double Italian.
I
family
had the
joint,
double
it's
Italian
awesome.
last week. Yeah.
The sub?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's good stuff, man.
How's that heart?
It's good. Yeah. I saw the heart doctor, and it's all good.
You got a bill of health.
Got a clean bill.
Bill of something. I got a bill of something.
Oh my gosh! So, George, I know you like to sip a little whiskey when we do the podcast. Hope always just takes a little sip. What do you think?
It's got a little spice, a little
A little spicy. No, you don't care for this one. You
no.
don't care for this one.
No.
I have to go back in the archives and find which one it was that you enjoyed, because that was a rarity.
I drank a lot in my very early youth, and that's what this all tastes like. It tastes like stuff that was in my dad's cupboard. Just like I can't drink wine. Wine tastes like mass to me. Everything tastes like a misspent youth to me. So
That's a whole nother podcast.
That is a
is,
whole
yeah.
other podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Booze and childhood memories.
That's right.
Okay, I'm gonna write that one down. I might just do that one all by myself. All right, back to Obstacle Corps for just a second. Congratulations on the success.
Thank you.
Everything. You got to be thrilled, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And are we? I don't want to any leaks or anything, but are we getting close to distribution as well? Perhaps are you allowed to say? Can we say that Can we say that it's going to happen at some point? It's just a matter of who.
It's funny that you mentioned that today because I think tonight there's been some progress. Can we put it that way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We've spent the last actually several days. Well, yeah, actually in a couple of weeks, but in particular the last few days talking to a handful of potential distributors, and I talked to one today that seems like probably the best bet so far.
Good fit so far. So yeah,
fingers
could be
crossed,
soon.
Yeah.
I hope that you have learned from your peers in respects to distributing films.
Yeah.
As we have had, good experiences and not so good experiences.
I hope you guys
along
make
the
money.
way. Yeah.
I wish you luck.
We're streaming on the 3 or 4 different formats. A film that we shot 4 or 5 years ago, and how much have we made?
Donuts, baby.
Donuts. Yeah.
It's just interesting when you talk to these different distributors how it can just vary so wildly in what they require, what they deliver. It's really
What they keep.
What they keep. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's really alarming sometimes how it
Yeah.
can swing so wildly. So
Yeah.
Well, I wish you nothing but continued success.
Thank you.
And we look forward to sitting down with you when you guys start your next project.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Whatever the
Thank
case
you.
might be, because I know there's one percolating in those brains of yours. Mhm. No teases? Nothing? Just
depends how much more of this we drink, I guess.
I will loosen the tongue. All right, let's get to it, shall we? The
Yeah.
Oscars. We will go from the bottom up. We will start with we're going to do original screenplay, best supporting, leads, director, and best picture. And I have questions along the line. Like I said, collectively we've seen a lot. We haven't seen everything. So let's start with best original screenplay. And I know what my pick is right out of the gate, and it might split a vote. But we got I love Martin McDonagh from Banshees.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. The directors are also the writers, the Daniels, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. Am I saying his name right?
Shiner.
The Fablemans, Steven Spielberg, Tony Kushner. Tar, Todd Field, director and writer. And the one that we're gonna spit on a lot this evening, I think, Triangle of Sadness.
Ruben Östlund.
Yeah, it's got little
It's got an umlaut.
Umlauts.
It's good. So yeah. So, best original screenplay and why? Are you guys on the same page or do you differ?
As for who is going to win, who we
Best
think
original
should win.
screenplay. Yeah.
Who's
gonna
going
win?
to win?
Oh yeah.
Who's
Well, I
going-
think we're going to say this a lot on this podcast. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once
I
has,
disagree.
has all the momentum.
It does.
right
Now, here's the thing. The Writers Guild, they haven't announced their winners yet. And so, as we talked about this before, that the guilds, they're the best overlap in the voting pool, so they're the best predictor. So we don't know who they went with. I think that smart money is probably on the Daniels. However, it always seems to me that whoever wins best screenplay is who probably should have won the Oscar, and it's usually anyway.
For Best Picture.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like McDonough has a good shot, and also to tell you the truth, I think Todd Field has a shot because a lot of times the screenplay comes out of nowhere, and that is a beautifully written movie.
Yeah,
But
I think that's the one. If we were awarding it,
we would give it to Todd.
We would give it to Todd Field. What a
But
fantastic
I
screenplay.
I actually think that Martin McDonough's going to win.
That's my vote.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
think he's
vote.
going to.
I'd be certainly happy with that.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic screenplay.
And-
It seems like a runaway train right now
Yeah.
for the Daniels.
It
But,
does.
Yeah,
It does
I'm with the
indeed.
Dans myself.
You're with the
I think it's
dance.
the most creative.
Oh,
film
it
I've
certainly
seen in a
original.
long
It's-
time.
It absolutely is.
It's certainly original.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'll say this early because when I started watching it, I made a note to myself. I'm watching Everything Everywhere All at what the fuck am I watching? But then as I invested and continued to stay with it, I was like, wow, wow. And then I watched their short film,
Oh yeah.
Interesting Ball, which now I know that they've been creatively
Oh yeah, they're weirdos for sure.
out of the chute for a while
Yeah.
now. Interesting Ball was just like, okay, I get it now. This is the type of movie that they make.
Yeah.
And they just did it on a much larger and amazing scale, but we'll talk more
Well,
about
their
that
first
later.
feature was shoot.
Swiss Army Man.
Swiss Army Man. Yeah, that was.
We have
weird
that towel.
and awesome.
We do.
We have a Swiss Army Man towel. Yeah,
Nice.
with Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, that one I didn't love. I mean, I saw the originality was there. I didn't think that movie worked quite well, not nearly as well
No.
as this one.
Well,
this
then-
one seems now that they're completely in control of their
Right.
weird visionary.
Well, and then Shiner did one on his
cultures.
own.
He did.
Called The Death of Dick Long, which
Yeah.
was
Is he allowed to?
is
Is he
an
allowed to do a movie by
amazing,
himself? Without
It
the
was
other
a
Daniel?
weird one. It was a weird one, but in a very different way.
Yeah.
It was a weird one, but I liked it a lot.
Okay. It's kind of a strange title there.
yes, it is.
Kind of
Lives
curious
up to
about
it.
that.
Lives up to it.
The Banshees of Inisherin, I mean, I love his screenplays. I love his plays
Yeah.
as well. I mean, I think he is probably one of the most prolific and amazing screenplay writers and play writers of our generation.
Yeah, it is. It's a wonderful screenplay.
And when I come across some of my friends that I've recommended that movie to, and they go, "Why the hell did you tell me to watch that movie? I couldn't even get through the first 20 minutes."
Oh, that's crazy.
What?
What?
They go,
That
what?
was great, dude.
What?
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good on different levels. Just the relationship between the characters, and of course all the entire cast is fantastic.
Yeah.
But then the subtext of the Irish Civil War
Oh, yeah.
and how the two relationships mirror that. It's
Oh, yeah.
beautiful.
The Irish Civil War in the distance,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
but still present.
Always
And
present,
nobody
yeah.
knows why they're fighting, but
Yeah.
they're fighting, and it's gonna just keep getting worse. Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful metaphor for that, and it's also really funny.
Yes.
that scene in the confessional is one of the funniest scenes I've seen this year.
Yeah.
and it's gorgeous. It's so
Oh,
beautifully
beautiful.
shot.
Beautiful.
And I feel bad for it a little bit because if you compare it to Everything Everywhere All at Once, I mean, both films, the entire cast, right? All 4 members of the cast nominated for Oscars, screenplay, director, picture, all of them, So if it weren't for the Daniels, I feel like Banshees would clean up.
And that's the unfortunate thing, or the great thing,
Right.
because you do want competition.
Yes.
You do
Yeah, for
want
sure.
people
But
fighting it out.
they're
and
both
slugging
so
it out.
deserving.
Yeah, but all right. Well, my vote
one-
for best original screenplay is with Martin. Hope says Martin George.
Yeah, I still say the Daniels.
Still say the Daniels. That's your screening. That's your I want to win the Oscar pool pick, or is that your personal pick?
No, that's
I think
wanna win the
our
Oscar
personal
pool.
pick
Our
is
personal
Tar.
pick is Tar.
Yeah, our personal
Yeah.
pick is Tar. That was our favorite movie
That's
this
your
year.
favorite. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I
it
want
was
to win the
perfect.
Oscar pool. The dance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know-
so
you
guys
know what
split
I
on-
liked
you guys
about-
are splitting on that one.
And
Yeah.
I'm with the dance.
You know what I liked about Banshees was that it was there's a moment there where you see a calendar and it says May and April of 1923,
Right.
and it's like 100 years ago, like today.
I know.
So you think back to the people, no matter how much time goes by, characters and people are all the same.
Yeah.
He's looking at a distant war. We're looking at a distant war in Ukraine right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just really amazing how, as no matter how much time goes by, people don't change. You know, I thought that was amazing.
That is
I wouldn't be cutting my damn fingers off. I'll put it that way.
I know, right?
maybe in a drunken, just to prove a point, one.
Maybe one. I'll give you
maybe
one.
the pinky.
No.
Well, to
maybe
the first not,
Yeah.
But he started with his thumb. That's crazy.
I know, right? That's very important. The
It's
thumb.
very
Especially
important.
since he's
right, fiddle player.
fiddle play. Okay. All right. So
I
Hope
won't win.
says Martin.
Mm-hmm.
George says everything. And collectively, though, if you were going with your hearts, you both say Tar.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Best Supporting Actress. Angela Bassett, Wakanda Forever, Black Panther. Help me with the pronunciations. Hope from The Whale. Hong
Chow.
Chow.
Yeah.
I love her.
Oh, yes.
Carrie Condon from the
Carrie
Ban-
Condon.
Yeah.
Oh, she was so great.
from the Banshees.
Yeah.
I think I have a crush on her.
She was great.
I do.
No, with
They're
her it'd be
all
a
feckin'
with her it'd be
boring.
a feckin' crush.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really would. Jamie Lee Curtis, who
Yeah.
who surprised that was a surprise winner at the SAG
Yeah, she was.
Awards, which, as we all know, you can't go by the Golden Globes.
Nope.
but
No
the SAG
predictor there.
Awards.
Yes. Tons of overlap. in
A lot
the
of
voting
overlap.
pool.
A lot of
Tons
overlap because that is actors voting on actors.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere, and
Stephanie Sue?
Yeah, also great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also great. So, who do we pick?
Until the SAGs,
Yeah.
I think our money was on Angela Bassett.
Oh, for sure.
But now,
No.
this probably makes it the toughest pick of the night because look at both
Agreed.
of them. They're veteran
Yeah.
actors. They have a ton of goodwill
Yes.
in the community. Everybody loves both of them.
Yep.
They're both deserving. But after the SAGs, I have to say the smart money now is on Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. I agree. And but I do think this is certainly of the acting, this is the tightest race
It is.
because
Yeah.
I mean, Angela Bassett had won everything leading up.
Right.
But again, I mean, those others, they aren't predictors of Oscar. They just aren't. There are so many members of SAG who are also members of the Academy. So that's why it's the best predictor. So, I would, and also the fact that she has her co-star in the same category with her, you'd think that would split the vote. But Jamie Lee Curtis is riding such a wave
She
of
is.
goodwill because she's so profoundly supportive of everyone, and she's also been around forever and ever, I think, and it's tight,
It is. It's so tight.
but I think I would give the edge to Jamie Lee Curtis right now because of the SAG.
Yeah, I would too. It just feels like the one time in my life that I won the March Madness pool, I did it by just picking chalk, and it feels like this year I'm just going to do it. Just got not try to pick an upset, you know. And it feels like again that everyone associated with Everything Everywhere has just the momentum right now.
Yeah.
Does Jamie Lee Curtis, does she have an Oscar?
No,
She's
this
never
is her
been
first
even
nomination.
nominated.
Never been
It's
nominated.
her first
Because
nomination.
she's what you could call Hollywood royalty,
Oh,
right?
she is.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Tony Curtis and Jan
Yeah.
Lee were
Yeah.
her parents,
Yeah.
and
and she's been around since the 1978. She's been doing.
So does that
Right,
play into
yeah.
the politics? We always talk about that kind of stuff.
Well, I just
like
think
a
it
good
adds to
story.
the goodwill.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Angela Bassett
Yeah.
hasn't won one either. She has been
She
nominated.
was nominated for What's Love Got to Do with It. She was the president of SAG for a while.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
she's as
She gets
entrenched
it.
in Hollywood as
This
Jamie
is
Lee
a-
Curtis, just in a different way.
This
I
is a
mean,
tough one. It's a tough
It's a
pick.
tough one.
Yeah, but
She's also, and I say this on our podcast all the time, the most beautiful woman in the world.
She's
Angela
striking.
Bassett is the most
She's
beautiful woman
gorgeous.
in the
she's
world.
just striking.
she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. She's one of my
Has nothing to do with anything, but I
And
can't
I-
talk about her without saying
and
it.
she's and it shouldn't go without saying she's great in Wakanda Forever.
is
She's
great.
the anchor of that
Oh,
movie.
she really
so much
is.
of that movie
Yeah.
is about grief and moving on
Yeah.
from loss, and she brings it to you right from the
Oh,
opening.
she does.
It's her
She's good.
son. The character is her son,
Yeah.
and she brings it in the opening minutes. She's
Yep.
great.
Yeah, she
I,
is.
you guys don't watch a lot of television because you're too busy watching movies, but she's one of my favorite parts of 911 on Fox. She has a recurring role on television.
Yeah,
Did
I
not-
believe
busy
it.
with that.
Yeah.
and she's one of the best parts of it.
Yeah,
What's love got to do with it, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was hers. That
Oh,
was-
I
so
did
good.
too. Yeah,
I
she was
really
so
did.
she was so good.
I
So
really
good.
did. So you guys are both of you are going with Jamie.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be fickle. I love Jamie Lee Curtis in that
Oh, yeah.
movie. She was amazing.
She was.
But I still like I still like Carrie.
You're voting with your heart.
With my heart, not with my head.
You know, and I just and a tip of the hat to Hong Chow, because she had a great year. Not only was she great in The Whale, but
She
she's
was-
fantastic in The Menu.
She's so good.
the menu
So
I love.
good.
The menu.
Oh, yeah.
The menu should be in this mix
Yeah.
before Triangle of
Yes.
Sadness.
100% agree.
it's- 'cause
100%.
It's the same idea, but made better for it, and in an hour less time. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And-
you know, and we love actually Ruben Östlund, the filmmaker. We've loved everything he's made up until this, and
Until
we were
this.
both so disappointed
So
in Triangle of
disappointed.
God, I
Sadness.
feel so good now.
No,
Yeah.
you feel validated.
I made it an hour and a half into, hour and 15 minutes into that movie, and I was like, "There's nothing fucking happening."
It's just so it just beats you over the head with its message. And the thing is, his other two films, this was his first English language film, and his other two films are not like that at all. They really leave you guessing. And I almost feel like he thought Americans were too dumb for that, so he's just gonna ladle it on.
I know, and it makes me even more disappointed that he's getting all the
Yeah.
love for dumbing it down.
Yeah.
Because if you seek out The Square and Force Majeure, two
And
of
do
his
it.
films,
They're
both
so
fantastic.
great. They're
So
so
good.
great.
And I was so looking forward to Triangle of Sadness. It was probably my biggest disappointment of the
yeah.
year.
Isn't it
Yeah.
ironic that sadness is in his title?
I know.
He's gonna be sad that night.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I have a question, but it's gonna come back to both the supporting actors category and supporting actor and the actors in general. So we're gonna deviate, but when I'll get to it in just a second. Let's go to a best supporting actor. Oh, okay. I know who I'm picking on this one, even though, again, I don't know what it was about Banshees of Inisherin that affected me so much. But on any given day, if there wasn't an Everything Everywhere All at Once, let's go with down the list. Brendan Gleeson for Banshees, Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway, which I did not see.
Oh,
He's
it's
very good.
He's amazing.
I
He's
did
so
not
good.
see, so
It's
I
on
cannot-
Apple TV right now.
I cannot comment
Yeah.
on the performance or the film.
He's excellent.
Yeah, he is.
That one got by me. Judd Hirsch did a Judy Dench.
Yes. Yeah.
Did a Judy Dench.
Extended cameo.
Yeah, extended. But
He was great, though.
But he was
I
powerful.
mean, he set it on fire.
He did.
He was powerful.
Yeah.
And Barry Keoghan from
Banshees.
I know.
I don't want to no spoilers, but
Oh, yeah.
oh my God,
I know.
he broke my heart.
Yeah.
Right.
he did.
I know the scene you're
Yes,
thinking
he
of too.
did.
He broke everybody's heart
He
in that
broke
scene.
my
Yeah.
heart. This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's fantastic, and,
Oh, my
and
God.
everybody here is
We
so
both call
deserved.
little people ghouls. Yeah, he's so great. He's so great in everything. We have loved Barry Keoghan for I don't know how long. I mean, he's amazing in every single thing. And
then in the same movie, you got Brendan Gleeson.
I know. Who's one of my all-time favorites, like
Yeah.
top 10 all-time favorites, Brendan Gleeson. I could not believe this is his first nomination. That's
What?
crazy. Brendan Gleeson
What?
should have like 6 Oscars
Really?
by
That's
now. This
criminal.
is his first
Yeah.
nomination.
I did not know that. I thought
Crazy.
I thought for
I know.
sure.
He's great.
I mean, this is a guy that's got he just I found I'm a big fan of the Mr. Mercedes novels from Stephen King. When he did that, it was on I think it was AT&T. Now no longer exists. AT&T streaming whatever, but it was that he did that. He's just great.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah,
he
he's great
does
in everything.
television and really his first
I
nomination.
think the first thing I ever saw him in was 28 Days Later, and he
yes.
tore my heart out.
Was
That's
that before-
the saddest death scene in all of
Was
horror.
that before Lake Placid?
No, you know what?
Lake
Placid was first.
Lake
Placid was great.
Remember that? He was the
yeah.
local
Yeah,
lawman.
I'm going to say something I'm not sure I'm allowed to say, but in
Say
the
it.
movie Lake Placid, Betty White tells Brendan Gleeson to suck her dick, and it's maybe the best scene in cinematic history.
You're allowed. You're allowed. In fact, if you weren't going to say it, I would insist upon it that you did. Wow. All right. So, okay. So, and of course, short round.
Ki Hu Kwan.
Yeah.
I love him, man.
He-
I love that guy. I want him to win just because I wish him to win.
He's going to win.
As I
He's going to win,
continued to watch this movie, and in my heart, yeah, Barry's not going to win, but I wish he could. It will be him. It will be him.
Yep.
It will be Kwan, because what I tell you when I went, there it is, when they started splitting universes,
Yeah.
and the scene where he's in the
Tuxedo,
tuxedo,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one. Yeah.
and the glasses,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and I'm like, okay, There it is.
This is one of the brilliant things about that movie. That's one of the reasons that all of the actors are nominated, is that essentially each actor plays 5 different parts.
Yeah.
So it is such a showcase for acting because they're all the same character, but they're slightly different in very specific ways. So they have to find ways to be recognizable as the same person, but clearly a different version of that person. So it was a challenge, and it's a challenge, and they all excelled at, and that's one of the reasons that they all look so great.
Yeah. And as great as he is in this movie, and when he does win, it will be deserving. The moment I knew he was going to win, when the snapshot of him standing with Harrison Ford went viral, and everybody just got the feels.
Oh,
I'm
man.
like,
And that's the
right?
thing too. Okay, it's that same face and everything. He was that excited to meet Tom Cruise. He was so happy to meet Tom Cruise. He just is so like what you think you would be at one of those dinners. You'd be like, oh my God, look, that's what he's like.
Okay, let's take a sidebar for a second in respects to somebody like this in Hollywood who had fame at a young age as a child actor, and then, as you've heard, languished. He was a stunt double. He did
He was a
whatever.
stunt coordinator.
Yeah,
Stunt coordinator,
and did things that he didn't have the opportunities, and now he comes. He actually did he thank Steven Spielberg?
Yes, he
at
did.
the
Yes.
Golden Globes at one point, and then he pops into this and comes back. Hollywood, let's be honest. Hollywood loves, you said it, the feels.
Yeah.
They love the feel good. They love the story.
Yep.
They love to see somebody who was languished and had some fame and some notoriety early on.
Well,
and
you've
then,
heard Barry's story, though, right?
What's that?
You've heard Barry's story, though, right? Barry Keoghan was in foster care.
Right.
For like
Right.
13 different places. So he's got
some of that too.
He does.
But everybody's...
Because he's so adorable.
I haven't heard that story as much as I've heard.
No. I mean, I also think that Barry Keoghan is relatively new to... He's 30 years old. And I mean, he did win the BAFTA. But yeah, I mean, I think,
and everybody saw that picture with Harrison Ford and took him right back
to when they were kids and they
Exactly.
saw Temple
Right.
of Ninja, the Temple of Doom.
So
Yeah,
my
for
question to you both is, does that play?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there's
Oh,
no
yes.
question.
Does that play?
Oh, sure. I think so.
Because think about how
they're
many
humans.
voters
They're humans that are voting.
just like you saying, I want him to win. I love this guy and I want him to be happy.
I wanted him to win.
Yeah.
Did you see him on, what was it, Sunday morning or 60? I forget, Sunday morning last week. Like an extended interview. And the story of him basically running into all these walls because
He's Asian.
Asian and people said, I can't put Short Round in my movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and then he...
Yeah, and I don't get it. Why can't you?
Because...
Why can't you?
That's why the brains
we're gonna get more into everything when I say this. But speaking of Asian actors, oh my God, James Hong, who played the grandpa, who's been around,
Just turned 94.
Just turned 94.
94 years old, who's been around
Eyes.
forever,
Ever.
Oh, yeah.
ever,
Yeah.
ever. I remember him in.
Big Trouble in Little China. That's the first one that's the first thing I think of.
Yeah.
Is he also in one of the worst Eddie Murphy movies
Yes,
ever? And yet it's one of my
Golden Child.
Yeah.
I don't know why I love that movie, but I do.
I
It's
don't
one of-
either.
It's one of the movies. It's one of the movies that I love to hate, but I watch it every time I come across it. In the middle of it, I watch it. But yeah, this is a guy that's 94 and.
Well, he said in his acceptance speech, didn't he say his very first movie, Clark Gable,
Yeah.
was in it?
Wow.
Clark Gable.
Back in the 40s,
I went,
right?
what?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Clark Gable
Yeah,
was in.
wow.
Yeah, he's been around for.
He's been around.
Yeah, yes.
He say you Blade Runner.
Yeah, he was in Blade Runner.
He's,
right.
Yeah. So amazing. So all right. So who we picking? Best supporting actor.
Ki Hu Kwan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
with
All right.
All day.
All right. All of us the same.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Me. Reluctantly, me too.
Yeah, he's
Oh, come on, he's great.
I mean, I would give
Not
it,
reluctantly. He's
I
a great
would,
performer.
yeah,
But
I would give it to Barry Keoghan.
You would give it.
That's who I.
personally?
Yes, that's who I would give it to.
That's
yeah.
who I would give it to in my heart.
Yeah.
Am I
Right.
going with my
But
heart?
he's-
You know what? You guys are going
Yeah.
with your head.
Yeah.
I'm going with my heart.
Do it.
Barry.
But yeah, Ki Hu
Barry.
Kwan's gonna
Barry. I'm not going to cave to your pressure.
win. That's right.
I'm not going to cave to your. I want a perfect score on my Oscar scorecard pressure.
You're going to lose and
I'm
lose
good.
proudly.
I'm going to lose. Proudly.
He's just looking for one win. One win.
But hats off to everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
And
category.
it
right
really
there.
is.
All right, now we get into some of the. Not that these categories prior to were any less significant. They're huge because I think supporting actors and actresses. I think the amazing thing about those performances is is that they do actually, hence the word support and raise. And I think by virtue of their performances, they raise the bar and make the people who are opposite them, who might be in the lead roles, work that much harder and better. And I think that is the case in both of these, in all of these, all of these films. So, Best Actress. Here we go. Cate Blanchett for Tar, Ana de Armas for Blonde. Okay, I'm going to save the last one for last because of all the debate. Michelle Williams, Fabelmans, Michelle Yeoh for Everything, and Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, which John Whitney saw, and I did not.
She's my favorite, and I actually thought that film got shafted this year because I thought it was
Mark
fantastic.
Maron was also incredible.
Mark Maron was great in that
so
movie.
Great,
really was.
Andrea Riseborough is always good. She's always incredibly good, and she fully deserves a nomination. And I like Ana de Armas. No way should she be on this list. No way should she be here. Danielle Deadwyler should be here instead.
She should. And every time somebody brought up the whole Andrea Riseborough thing, I just thought, not that Andrea Riseborough is not worthy here. She is. But there's a very similar small movie that we saw this year featuring another performance that got no mention. Thandaway Newton in a movie called God's Country.
Oh, yeah, so great.
If I'm going to take someone from a small movie that nobody heard of, that's who I would have put in. But I totally agree with you on Danielle Deadwyler. She was the biggest snub of the entire nominations process.
For Till.
I cannot believe she was not nominated.
No.
I really can't. But again,
but I'm all for Andrea Riseborough having this nomination. I'm completely for it.
For the nomination.
Yes,
but
not the win. I mean, she's not
want her
going
to win.
She's not going to win.
No.
I know she's not going to win.
And the other not problematic, but I mean the Ana de Armas. She was the best thing about Blonde. Blonde is a terrible movie.
Terrible.
She's the best thing about the movie, but she does not belong in this category. I mean, this should be Danielle Deadwyler all day.
Yes.
But
so how does that happen, in your opinions?
I don't know. I mean, I think that
Is it campaigning? Is it?
Boy,
I
don't know.
I mean, we'll take Andrea for example. To Leslie, the movie at that time before the nominations, the movie had grossed like $20,000.
Right. Nobody had seen it.
20, yeah. Nobody had seen it.
And if people complain about because it was a grassroots campaign inside the industry, and the thing is, it's so what they're basically saying is, if your movie isn't with Sony or Netflix or somebody who's got $1 billion to drop on it, then it doesn't deserve a nomination. What is that about? Are we supposed to get behind that notion? I know people, it's because it was her wife and a lot of other actors and people who could be on the air and say things like, she's got my vote. But, take advantage of what you can take advantage of. They didn't spend any money nobody spent money on the movie. I don't see how you begrudge somebody because they tried to get their wife an Oscar nomination and it worked.
I agree with you there. I think from what I read, and I don't pretend to understand every in and out of this issue, I think the problem came in with when there was at least some accusations that some of the outreach named other actresses by name, saying that instead of voting for, say, a Danielle Deadwyler because she's going to get it anyway.
Yeah, there was one. One Instagram post. Somebody in the industry's Instagram post said, "I'm going to vote for Andrea Riseborough because Danielle and
are locks
and Viola Davis are locks," and of course neither one of them did get nominated.
And that is
and that does look bad, and that it looks bad. Vote for this white girl because these two black ladies are all going to be that's an ugly look.
That is an ugly look.
But it's
I think it's
one post,
and I think it's a violation of, I don't know, are there bylaws? I mean, I think it's a violation of how you can campaign. I believe. So I agree with your first point for sure. If you can make a grassroots campaign, do it, but not that way.
Okay, so there's two Michelles. There's Andrea. There's Anna, who just is the best thing about Blonde, but we all agree that it wasn't a great movie. And then there's the amazing Cate Blanchett in Tar, which you guys
she's so good.
You didn't say anything about this until I brought it up.
She's perfect.
She's perfect. She's amazing.
She's perfect.
And once again, based on what's out there right now, this is when we go neck and neck. I mean, her performance in Tar was, as Lydia, was just
she's
It was
stupefyingly good.
flawless. It was.
Thank you, by the way, for giving me the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have to give it back to you tonight.
She is. She is. She's. I mean, she's always. She might be the most talented actor working today, and she is always. But this is, I think, her best performance.
And the tandem of that script, that character, and what she does with it is
yeah.
just, you're just in awe.
But
she's so good.
Very few people saw it, and a lot of the people who saw it did not like it at all. Thought
Why?
It was boring. That's what I heard. Is
Why?
People thought it was. I don't know. Because nothing happens, or everything that happens off screen.
What
I
is
thought it
supposed
was-
to happen?
I thought it was. I
What
thought it
is
was
supposed to
breathtaking.
happen? When, and this is like I said, I had questions, specific questions, moving into this particular category. What is supposed to happen? What is it when you look at the best actor and the best actress category? And let's forget about the hype and the momentum and everything for just a second. What do you two look for? What speaks to you when it comes to a best actress and a best actor performance? What is it that is profound about those performances that make you say, man, I don't know if they're going to win, but that's who should win?
What? I can take Tar because it's a very sly screenplay that gets you on Lydia Tarr's side right away, even though you're like, yeah, she probably shouldn't be doing this, but you go. I mean, and it's really a Harvey Weinstein film. It's a film about Harvey Weinstein, and the smartest thing they did was to cast a woman as Harvey Weinstein. Because, again, it throws you off kilter. But the fact of the matter is, power corrupts. That's what the film is saying, that when you have a person who's a little bit diabolical and you give them a little power, they'll figure out a way to rationalize using it to get what they want, no matter how foul that is. And that's what the movie is. It gets you on her side, and then little by little, you're like, oh, I don't know. And then eventually, by the time you realize she's a bad person, then she pulls out an accordion and she makes you laugh really hard. Anyway.
And it's not just, it's such a brilliant character and a performance, but also the script also addresses the institutions that enable these types of people to keep their power.
Yes.
Because they make you feel uncomfortable.
Well, she's on the verge of like the greatest thing of her life.
Yeah.
And go ahead. And,
but make you feel uncomfortable about upsetting it. And just like you said, the fact that this character is a woman and is still promoting the patriarchy and things that keep it in place is fascinating. It's such a great sleight of hand with this script, and one of the things that makes it so brilliant, and the way that she encompasses this character for something is, if you remember the scene where she's talking to a colleague and he's talking about taking a job somewhere at another orchestra, and she says, and they'd be lucky to have you. And you know she doesn't mean that at all. She's being so condescending to him.
Yeah, she's
but yet
perfect.
it came out, so he probably believed it, and she complimented me. But as a viewer, it was brilliant because I could tell, you're just playing him like a sap.
Yeah.
It's such a great script and actor together.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Okay, so I narrow it down to 3, and as far as who I liked and who I thought were Kate and Tar. I loved Michelle Williams in The Fabelmans.
Yes.
She was great. And, of course, Michelle Yeoh and everything. So who are your picks?
Well, I think Michelle Yeoh is a lock.
Yes.
Michelle Yeoh's a lock?
Yep.
But I also, I mean, this film was so good to her. It's clear that the filmmakers are longtime Michelle Yeoh fans, because basically with every new personality, you got to see a different classic Michelle Yeoh character back on the screen now. And that's one of the things that is so compelling about her in this role is, again, with everybody, you got to see all these different versions, but she's the lead. She's in every scene. She's constantly changing who she is. And then the main character, who's there just to have her taxes done, she has to have an arc. Nobody else has to have an arc, but she has to be the one character
And
who
an arc is
changes.
huge.
Huge.
An arc is huge.
And how difficult would it be to mind that when you have 6 other characters of the same person doing different things? You think to yourself, that's my arc, right? But no, this one, the one with the laundromat, she has to be different at the end of the movie. And it's just, it's magnificent.
Really
It's a
works well.
magnificent performance.
And it is, to your point earlier, it's helped immeasurably by the support.
Oh, yeah.
The supporting roles help her.
Right.
But she's great in it. And here's another case where she has tremendous goodwill.
Yeah, she
right
does.
now. Been around forever.
Right.
Had respect forever, and getting her due, so to speak. Oh, yeah, I think she's a pretty much of a slam dunk.
Yep.
I think both of us in our hearts would give it to Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett, but I will not be unhappy. to
I
see
will not
Michelle
be
Yeoh
unhappy.
get it.
No, I will not be
Okay,
unhappy.
so who are you picking for your?
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, Michelle Yeoh.
I'm with you guys.
Me too.
Yep.
Me too.
Yep.
I've loved her since Super Cop.
Me too.
Yeah.
You want that known. Let it be known.
I saw Super Cop in the theater.
That's great. That's great. That's great. I'm gonna just pause for a second, because we were talking about the significance of the SAG Awards.
Yeah.
And how they are kind of a better indicator as to who might win as we move forward into the Oscars. I watched the SAG Awards this year, and I probably enjoyed them more this year than I have every year because they were streaming. And there were no commercials.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
There
Oh.
was no editing. and I heard Michelle Yeoh say fuck.
Nice.
And I want to divert for just a second because award shows, and here we are talking about when there's. I read an article saying that there's such a small percentage of America that really sees the movies that we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and I admittedly up front said I have not seen everything. I've seen a lot, but not everything. And there's a lot of America that doesn't know anything
No.
about anything.
No.
And there's a lot of people that haven't seen everything everywhere all at once, even though it's
Yeah.
got this huge momentum.
Yeah.
But the percentage of people that have seen the film is probably like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they all saw Top Gun.
Yeah, they all did.
Yes, they did. And Avatar.
And we'll get to that with that long list here in just a moment. But as far as award shows, and I'm a geek, you're geeks. I look forward to the Oscars every year.
Oh, you
I
bet.
watch the Emmys every year, and I watched. Yes, I did watch the Golden Globes. But do you think the future of award show might go to the streaming format as
Yeah.
we speak?
Yeah. I mean, I feel
Sure.
like the only one that has any real audience, like any substantial audience, is the Oscars, and even that every year they talk about how much smaller it is from the year before.
Yeah, I think this year is going to be a really,
Right.
really big indicator with the nominations that you just mentioned,
Yeah.
the big popular films getting
But it
nominated.
wouldn't surprise me if it went to streaming, especially
Oh, me either.
if streaming offered that, like a more intimate look at what they're doing and you know,
There were no
Uncensored?
bathroom breaks.
cocktails and
there were no
whatnot?
there
Yeah.
were no commercials
Oh,
for
that'd be-
bathroom breaks.
yeah.
But what they did was they offered up more packages, little vignette packages of acting that gave people an opportunity to get up and go to the bathroom. And I saw the numbers. There was like they streamed 1.1 million streams on Netflix YouTube channel. Next year it actually goes to Netflix.
Smart.
But last year on TNT, 1.8 million viewers. So,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
so
Negligible.
yeah, absolutely. You know, and then not to mention the people that just go back and didn't get
Yeah.
and watch again. I would love to see. And I said, I'm not gonna. I'll just watch the updates and I'll try to catch up on something else. But no, I ended up watching them on the couch on my phone. And I still enjoyed them.
We love the Spirit Awards, the Independent Spirit Awards. That's our favorite
for
one.
the same
Yeah.
reason.
It's-
Very
yeah.
freewheeling.
Very.
Yeah.
And you talk about movies you haven't seen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the reasons we like it is because it'll be the really small movies that we loved and nobody saw, or movies that haven't been released yet that we know we can look forward to. So that's another reason the Independent Spirit Awards are so great.
And I always admired the SAG Awards on network television for wrapping it up in 2 hours.
Yes.
But this time on streaming, they went 2 hours and like 12 minutes.
Huh.
With no commercials, and they still went longer, but I didn't mind it.
Yeah, because you felt like there's some stuff you haven't seen
I
before.
was right
Yeah.
there
Yeah,
with it.
backstage,
every step of the
yeah,
way.
F-bombs, the whole bit.
Nice.
Me being a child of television who is loyal to television, for me to say, yeah, stream the award shows.
Yeah, do it.
And that being said, if the Oscars do stream and they come on a Sunday night, we might wait. It might be till Tuesday morning before we find out.
That's true.
who actually
Be like a
won the
presidential
Oscars.
election.
That's right.
We don't know yet.
Because they all said I had 45 seconds on the SAG Awards, and yet they kept on going.
Yeah,
And
sure.
Nobody played them off, and everything was fine. But I dug it. Okay. So now let's go to Best Actor, and then I have another question, which is similar to what I just asked before, but slightly different. Best Actor. Oh man, this guy was incredible. Austin Butler and Elvis. Also incredible. broke my heart. I actually shed a tear for him. Colin Farrell in Banshees.
So good.
I feel shame on me. I have not seen Brendan Fraser in The Whale. All right.
Neither have I.
He'll bring a tear to your eye.
Yeah, he will.
There's another movie I did not see. I did not see Paul Mescal in After Sun.
Oh,
so
good.
All right.
Love that
See, I
movie.
feel bad.
So good.
And I did see Bill Nye and Living.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Great.
And he's awesome.
Wonderful.
Okay. But when we go to Best Actor, all the momentum seems to be on Brendan
It
Yeah.
does, yes.
in The Whale.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I mean, I have not seen the movie. I have not seen the I've
He's
seen the
better than
clips.
the movie.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
better than
it's
the
so
movie.
it's sort of like Anna de Armas. I mean, the movie is not bad like Blonde is, but he is better than the movie.
And that's the one thing I've kept hearing.
Yeah.
So, and yet, Colin Farrell is great.
Yeah.
But the movie is great.
yeah.
So when it comes to something like that, and this is again another one of those, I'm going to use your word, George, the feels.
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser, who's languished a little bit in
You bet.
recent years,
Yeah.
comes back and,
Yeah.
and does this amazing
Yeah.
performance. And anytime it seems in Hollywood where somebody goes the extra mile
Yeah.
in respects to a character, and
Yeah.
and I don't know how much of that weight was his.
Oh, no,
And
it was a
and-
suit.
That's what I wanted to ask. Was it a suit?
Yeah.
Or
It was a
Yeah.
suit.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
a suit.
Suit.
He was 600 pounds.
Oh,
It was a
suit
suit.
and
Yeah,
prosthetics.
It was a
Yeah.
suit. It
I
was
was
a,
feeling bad for
but
He ate a lot of gatos. A lot of gatos.
Gattos.
Gotta get a gato.
Gotta get the gattos.
But I mean,
But there were
still-
pictures of Brendan Fraser over the years where he
Oh,
put
yeah.
on a few pounds.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
That's what made
For
me
sure.
worry.
And there's a little bit where you get a few glimpses of him as because he obviously had not always been this heavy, and that's the real
Yeah, his
thing. He was,
backstory.
he was
Right.
certainly, not at his fighting weight, but when Gary Oldman, he put on the fat suit. That's when he finally won his Oscar. So
Right.
it's not as if. I mean, Hollywood loves those big transformations. They just do. I mean, and
They love transformations. They love biopics.
They do.
Yeah.
This is not
This
one.
is not one, but it's from a play.
It's
No,
from a play,
but
it's a heartbreaker.
But
it's.
Austin Butler and Elvis kind of is.
Yep.
Oh, I will take a hostage.
She's not a fan of Elvis. The
She's
Elvis
not a
movie.
fan of Elvis.
I enjoyed the film, but I'm with Chip. I didn't really like him that much.
I didn't mind him. I did not like that film.
You didn't
I
like the
liked I liked them both. I didn't love the film. I liked it. I thought he was very good. I don't think he has a chance of winning.
Oh no, he was really great as an Elvis impersonator, and oh my God, the
Interesting.
best Elvis
Interesting.
impersonator I've ever seen. He even looks the part, he has that face, the baby face, and he talks like this, But it's not acting, It's not like,
How could you say it's not acting?
it's imitating Elvis.
It's probably. I'm sorry.
Like-
it's probably
like-
one of the more difficult things to do to not be a parody
Exactly,
of Elvis.
exactly. That's what I'm just telling you from my point of view.
Well, no,
watching it,
and I'm
and I
offering
get
debate.
it, but Johnny Cash, Joaquin Phoenix,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
he did that was acting, and that was not an imitation of Johnny Cash, and the acting was amazing, and he did a wonderful job portraying the character of Johnny Cash. This I just didn't believe. I thought he was just
if
simply
I may,
an imitator.
I
of
think
Elvis.
it's because Elvis wasn't a character in this movie. There was no depth. He didn't have any accountability. Nothing
Agreed.
was his fault.
He was still the
He
mythical
was a
figure,
model.
though.
He was just an idol, like a puppet, a really, really pretty puppet. They didn't. I'm not blaming the actor. The film, that was the point of the movie. It was almost as bad as Ana de Armas. Marilyn Monroe had no layers. She had no core. She had no agency. She had no mind of her own. She was a puppet to be abused for 3.5 NC-17 hours. Now, Elvis was not nearly that bad, the film, but it was the same core idea, is that he wasn't a character. He wasn't a human. And I think that's why it seemed like an impersonation, because he had no opportunity to actually bring him to life.
Yeah, that bothered me about the film too. I did still think it was entertaining. I did think Austin Butler was very good. I wouldn't have put him in this category, but he was.
Wow,
very good.
really? See, okay.
I mean, I liked
He's not my pick. Don't get me wrong, but I thought he did a tremendous job. I mean,
Oh, yeah, I thought he was very good.
When I've seen all these different takes on Elvis
Yeah.
through the years in film and one of my favorite movies is is a horror film with Elvis
Oh, with Bruce Campbell?
Yeah.
Bubba Hotep?
Oh,
Bubba Hotep.
Bubba
Hotep.
Yeah.
We showed that at Fright Club. We love that movie.
Bubba
Yeah,
Hotep.
that's great.
It's one of my favorite Elvis
Oh
movies.
yeah, that's a great.
So-
one.
That is
I mean,
great.
That is a great one.
But yeah, I gave the guy kudos for doing it. I thought,
And he did just win the BAFTA.
He did
which
win
was
the
a bit of a
BAFTA.
surprise to me, anyway.
How important are the BAFTAs
Not at all. To the Oscars, not
to
at
the
all.
Oscars?
Not
They
at
have
all.
it's like they're like cousins who you see on
yeah, but
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they're
And they-
England's
yeah,
Oscars,
yeah.
so they're important. But I mean, they're not a predictor at all.
No, but just another award show where okay.
Yeah.
that's-
Well, we choose to pick this because we know you won't.
Well, it's actually. I mean, it was really, I think, particularly shocking because Everything Everywhere All at Once is a UK film and didn't win. Excuse me, not Banshees of Inisherin. And so I think
Was a
that
UK film.
was
Yep.
a UK film. It's an Irish film and so a European film. And so I think people really didn't expect an American actor from a very American film about a very American icon to win the BAFTA. It was kind of a surprise.
right. And their choice of best picture was all Quiet on the Western Front, was
Yes.
it not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. Okay, so best actor. Again, I'm going with my heart and not my head. I did not see Brendan Fraser, so I cannot speak to his performance. But I did see Colin Farrell, and he.
Yeah.
I've always thought he's a pretty damn good actor, and he's done a lot of things
Yeah.
over the years.
Yeah.
But in this particular
Oh,
performance,
yeah.
I felt for this guy so much.
Yep.
Yeah.
All he wanted to do was figure out why his best friend
It's sad.
didn't
It is
want to
sad.
talk to him
It
anymore.
was such a sad. I mean, it was such a sad performance. It was a beautiful performance.
It was. And I'm with you. If, in my heart, I would give it to him.
And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
No, it's not.
I think
it's
that
close.
this is
It's close.
This is a closer contest than most of the other categories. I think I wouldn't be shocked if he got it, but I definitely think it's going to be.
I
Brendan
also
Fraser.
think it was a tremendous case of eyebrow acting. His eyebrows were on
They are
point
impressive.
in this movie.
They are impressive.
Were they not?
Yeah.
I wish I had his eyebrows. They're awesome.
They were very expressive.
They were.
Very expressive.
He's my pick by default because he's my favorite performance of the ones that I've seen.
It was great. Yeah,
It was amazing.
I think both of us probably would give it to
Yes.
him. Yeah.
But I think we both think it's probably going to be Brendan
Yeah.
Fraser.
Brendan
Yeah.
Fraser.
But it's tight. It's close.
Yeah, it would. That's a toss up.
Okay, so who you guys picking?
Fraser.
Fraser.
Yeah, we're picking Fraser.
All right. Okay, and
Feel good.
I'm with you, Dino.
my list is. I'm going to lose so bad this year, but in my heart, I go.
At least you're not the guy who picked West Side Story last year.
I wasn't going to bring it up,
That
George.
That torpedoed me last
I
year.
wasn't going to bring
That's
it
why
up,
I'm going
George.
chalk this year.
I wasn't going to bring it up, George.
I'm the guy.
Who picked Coda?
You
picked
picked
Ding, ding, ding.
I picked Coda too.
Nice. All right.
See, that's why I went.
I did
Smarty.
not.
I went
did
for
not
the
pick Coda.
upset
I love
and
Coda, but I didn't
crashed
pick
and
it.
burned.
I didn't pick it. All right, now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Director, and again, the fact that there's 10 films nominated for Best Picture, but only 5 directors, it makes me crazy. But that's something I'm going to bitch about each and every year until it changes. So,
So each and every year.
So each and every year, that's right.
all right, director Martin McDonagh for Banshees, yay. The Daniels for Everything, Everywhere. Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans. We haven't talked a lot about The Fabelmans, but we will here right now. Todd Field for Tar. And the Triangle of Sadness, which
Nope.
All right, who should have been in that spot instead of Ruben?
Well, how about let's start with Gina Price Blythewood
Yeah.
for
For
The
Woman King.
There's one right
Well,
there.
you know, Charlotte Wells
For
for
After
After
Sun,
Sun. That
yes.
was and you know,
And it was a debut.
Yeah, it was. And Sarah Polley for
Sarah
Women
Polley
Talking.
for Women
Oh my God.
Talking. There's
Oh
3
my
right
God,
there.
there's 3
I'm
right
sorry,
there.
I've not seen Women Talking, but I heard it was amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yep.
Okay, so based on Ruben's out. Goodbye. Sorry, Ruben. Sorry.
Like your other 2.
Sad triangle.
Who's winning Best Director? It's got to be the Daniels.
It does.
Very
I think it's
Daniels,
the Daniels. Yeah.
It's got to be the
It
Daniels.
does.
They won the Directors Guild, so that was the push over the cliff.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, I think it was such a tight race in really every category because again, they have both films are nominated in every category between Everything and Banshees, and then you just see where the guild goes. And the Directors Guild went with them. Producers Guild went with theirs. SAG went with them. So yeah, I gotta.
Yeah, I agree. Although, and I don't want to be all West Side Story. If there's an upset, I'm telling you, if there's an upset, I don't think Spielberg is out of the realm of
Really?
possibility. I'm just saying,
Is
if
that
there's an upset, if that would.
George, I'm with you. Last year, West Side Story, I thought was incredible. I don't know if I can't remember what I picked that year, but I thought West Side Story, and Spielberg is Spielberg.
Yeah.
And
I just sense a little groundswell for him and the movie. I don't think either one is going to win. I'm just saying, if there's an upset, it wouldn't shock me. Is all I'm saying.
I watched The Fablemans twice because Johnny, you'll understand this, and Hope and George, you'll understand this. As filmmakers, I had an affection for that
Absolutely.
film.
Sure.
Oh, I enjoyed that.
Sure.
To
Yeah.
see when I see a movie about a filmmaker and how and where the seeds were planted
Yep.
Yeah.
and why.
And not just any, right?
Right.
For Steven Spielberg
Right.
to just open the book on this is how I became Steven
Right,
Spielberg.
right.
I mean, it's fascinating.
Which is why I don't give it the vote for original screenplay, because it ain't all that original. It's kind of true. it's kind of on the mark.
Yeah,
you know.
a little bit.
Although
As
for most-
Chip said earlier, the only thing that changed was the name.
Right.
Right.
It should have been called the
The Spielberg.
You're right.
What's wrong with that? Just call it Spielberg's.
But you know, for
Everyone
most
rushed
people,
to the theaters.
I think ourselves included, we were surprised to hear that bit of scandal from his past that
Yeah.
he aired out like
about his mom
"Oh."
and dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Oh, is that the
Oh,
first
it's
time
that-
you heard about it?
I had not heard about it.
Oh,
before.
I
you-
mean, we knew that he was a child of divorce, but I
But
didn't
not
realize.
why.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No,
I know.
no,
I
no.
kind of I knew that story.
No,
Did
I
not
Yeah.
know why.
know
I
that.
did
Yeah.
not know that either. And
Yeah.
I was thinking, well, and that's why he can say, but Mom, it's the Fablemans. It's
right.
not the Spielbergs.
Right.
I wasn't giving away anything.
No, just
And you-
because
you-
she has your bangs, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything.
Hey, you talk about people who write things and wait till their parents die. His parents lived forever.
Yeah.
They were around for a long, long time. So maybe that's why it's taken
Maybe.
so long
Maybe.
for him to tell the story.
Plus, I also think we've seen a lot. I think that the whole pandemic thing caused a lot of filmmakers to look back on their lives.
Yeah,
We
we've had
saw
a lot,
of
those.
films like this, looking back on their lives, their own stories, how they came to
Yeah.
tell, the stories that they tell and how they got into this art. So I think that was part of it too.
Yeah.
People got reflective in the last few years, self-reflective.
But the thing
Navel
about-
gazing, people like to call it, but I think it was certainly a worthy project.
Oh yeah, loved it.
I honestly think he won't win only because he's Spielberg, and not well. What I mean by is he's like the engine that always is this. He's always solid.
Always in the mix.
He's always right down the middle. He always does a really fantastic job, and you've got everything everywhere.
Oh,
that
yeah.
is completely creative
Yeah.
and out of the box
and here's what I
and
love
amazing, and he's up against that.
Yeah.
But here's what I love about Spielberg. Spielberg's probably looking at that movie going, "Oh, that should win."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Over my
For
movie.
sure.
I
I
would
wouldn't
see
doubt it,
him,
yeah.
I would see him being a fan of films
Oh,
that
yeah.
are just
Agreed.
made
Yeah.
and different and take a twist. So I think he's probably happy to be nominated, but he doesn't win. We agree it's the Daniels, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
It's the Daniels, and now the pressure's really on them to move forward. What will they do when they move forward? Do they continue to make these kind of movies?
Why not? Why not?
Or do they like, okay, well,
Go make a Marvel movie, please.
Yeah.
no,
God,
no, no.
The Fantastic Four.
No. Well, I mean, money does talk. I mean, it's hard to turn down a lot of money, but they would make if they could stay true to what they're doing and what they've done
Yeah.
with a Marvel movie, I'd go see that Marvel movie.
That
I mean,
would be,
I
that
would
would
go
be
anyway, but
crazy.
let's hope that they
Would
don't.
have
Let's
to.
hope that they
Yeah.
just do something else. This original.
Yeah.
I don't see how they can help.
Go ahead.
Hansberry, welcome
Yeah.
back.
Hey!
Well, because I've been talking to Dino about this.
didn't like it.
I did not like it, but I didn't buy into the hype. And part of it, I think, is because as original and as creative and far out and bizarre that movie is, it's kind of been done with all the Marvel movies, with all the different things. I mean, not
You mean with
obviously-
multiverses
yeah,
and
the
things?
multiverse and this. You know what I mean? It was far out, but it's like that's kind of, in my opinion, a pop culture trend.
So
But-
if this was a Doctor Strange film, you would accept it, basically?
No, I
Doctor Strange.
I-
was
I do-
it was
multiverse.
better than Doctor
I
Strange.
think that it's important to recognize how groundbreaking this movie is in a lot of less obvious ways, because it's a movie about a middle-aged Asian woman and her gay daughter coming
Sure.
to terms with that. Now, none of those things, middle-aged women, no, Asian, no, gay, family, and that's how it gets together, no, none of these things do we see ever in a big, massive film like
Right,
this.
right.
And none of it felt like it was pandering. It was just naturally that was the story that we
There
were dropped
was.
into.
Give me
Right.
all the feels at the end, man.
Oh
my
It's
God, it
actually
was-
Yeah, it was a cool movie. I guess I'm not behind it as much as everybody else, but
And Marvel-
that way.
Marvel never did hot dog fingers.
No,
That's
they
They
true.
have not.
And I'm
No
not even
way.
a big fan of Marvel.
Come on,
Hot
give
dog
it its due.
fingers.
Every time that scene popped up, it did creep me out a little.
Oh yeah,
way.
It did. It just like
it was
okay.
way wrong. It was way wrong.
The hot dog fingers. but and all right, Hansberry is not alone. Again, much like I had friends who did not get Banshees and turned it off and said, "You're out of your fucking mind. what kind of shit are you watching?" I'm like, "Oh my god, just watch the whole movie and you'll
Well, see, that's the thing.
Especially since the movie I recommended, Banshees, I recommended it to friends.
Yeah.
Friends who are close to me. Friends who, if they decided not to talk to me anymore,
All right, you're less friends now.
would kill my soul.
Yeah.
And that's why I recommend it. Watch this movie. It explains.
Right.
It says something about
Yeah.
who we are and who we should never become.
Right. And I think a lot of that is another example of people not watching movies in the theater.
Yeah.
They're at home.
Yeah.
They pause it to take the dog out.
Or they don't pause
Or they
it to take
don't
the
pause
dog
it.
out,
And
and
then
they- yeah.
what's happening? Well, there's
What happened to his other four
there's
fingers?
a movie that you have to get
pay
immersed in.
attention to.
Let it
Right,
wash
right.
over you. That's the experience. Don't just kind of watch at it.
Right.
Or
Right.
And I will say that was probably me guilty of everything, everywhere, all at once. I watched it, part of it on my phone.
You did not watch everything everywhere. You did not watch it all at
didn't
once.
wear everywhere.
You watched it
Right.
in pieces.
I watched it on my
Exactly.
You can't
Right.
watch that movie in pieces.
No.
You
You
cannot.
can't watch
No.
that movie in
Yeah.
No.
pieces.
Yeah, let it go.
But you knew a lot of people who didn't like it. Greg is the first person that I've heard who didn't like that movie.
Yeah.
I've known
For the record,
one,
I didn't
one
say
person.
I didn't
Right,
like it.
I'm
I liked
sorry.
it. I would.
No, I got some.
He's put words in my
I know.
mouth.
And this is the key
It's
word.
not my favorite
And
of
it goes
the
back
bunch.
to Banshees. And it goes to patience.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of people
Yeah.
that I know don't have patience.
Right.
If they can't figure it out and see where it's going and what it's doing in the first 10 to 15
Oh,
minutes.
yeah.
Thank you, TikTok.
Yeah,
Well,
they
remember
bow out.
the Campion movie from last year?
Yeah.
Why can't I think of the name of it? With Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
We
Power of the
discussed-
Dog.
Power of the Dog.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody. I mean, people were like, "Nothing is happening. This is the dumbest movie I've ever seen."
is,
Like,
though.
I
Yeah.
give
No,
Johnny
it's
credit, at least for Triangle of
magnificent.
Sadness. He waited an hour and 10 minutes
That's
before he
right.
came out.
Well, you knew firmly I don't like it.
Well, it was
and then
2.5
you bailed.
hours
Yeah.
long.
I was done.
Yeah.
I like Power of the Dog. Though.
Oh God, I
Love
love
Power
Power
of
of
the
the Dog.
Okay, now we get into the big category, and we can kind of zip through some of these because we know what's going to win. And basically, we do everything, everywhere, all at once. Is
Got a good shot.
probably, and it also has a chance to be, I think, the third film in history, in Oscar history, to win Best Picture, Best Director, and Best to win
And the acting awards?
in the
as
acting
well?
awards as
Yeah.
well. It has a chance to do that. All right, Triangle of Sadness. We're all in agreement.
No.
We
No.
don't need to talk about that anymore.
Why?
Shouldn't even be there.
Should not be there.
All right, there's some
Get
movies I do want
out.
to talk about though, and you guys enlighten me and make me feel bad and stupid for not yet having seen Women Talking.
Oh my God, it's so
It's
good.
really good. And we were so pleasantly surprised to see it nominated.
Yes.
Because I did not, it wasn't getting any love whatsoever.
Let me ask you this: if there only would have been 5 movies, would it have been in the mix?
No,
Probably
I,
not.
I would be surprised. It would have been the 5 probably that got nominated for Best Director. Would have been the
Most
5
likely.
most likely.
All right. Fair
No,
enough.
it just slipped in there, I think, and it's also nominated for adapted screenplay, both really well deserved. It's a beautifully directed.
Did Polly write that as well?
She did. She adapted it from a book.
From a book,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. It's a beautiful, intimate, amazing film, and it is very talky, as you might get from the title. And yet, it's still. She opens it up with a lot of outdoor shots in the kids playing in the fields. It's a really beautiful movie, and then also at the same time, there's this ticking time bomb that the men are coming home soon. Please make up your mind.
Right.
It's
There's
so
tension.
tense in that
There's a
way
tension about it, yeah.
that it just comes naturally because the characters know we're going to figure this out. Everybody's going to be involved, and you're like home going, TikTok, ladies.
And it's a great ensemble of actors.
Yeah, oh, so
Fantastic.
great. I was really disappointed in
I
that,
love
that
ensemble
none of them
pieces.
got
I
nominated.
do love ensemble pieces.
It's great. You could have picked out 2 or
Any of
3
them,
of
yeah.
those
Yeah.
that for supporting roles because they all share a lot of
Yeah.
screen time.
Yeah.
But the whole ensemble is great.
All right, so
I'll see it. I love Sarah Polley. She's
let's
great.
Yes.
let's we mentioned Tar earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That got into the mix
Yeah.
as well. Great
So
movie.
great. So
That
it was our number one of the year.
Our number one of the year.
That's your number
5
one of the year
stars.
in
We
your,
gave it
in
5
your
stars.
hearts,
In our
but
heart.
for your Oscar picks in your head.
Oh yeah, no, it's not
gonna
gonna
win, but
in
it's
your hearts.
In our
Yes,
hearts.
it's our
yeah.
favorite movie of the year.
And again, let's reiterate why.
Did you like the ending?
I loved everything about it.
Everything about it. Yeah.
Well,
Do you guys often agree? Do you guys often? Well, last year, no.
we usually do.
But
usually do when it gets to ranking them at the end of the year. Usually one of us gives in because maybe I'd say, well, I'd have that at 3, not 1. But in this case, we both had that at number 1 for sure. Yeah, it was just incredible.
Perfect. We gave it 5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten into a real argument over a film where, like, because movies are such a passionate thing for both of you?
Just shades of gray.
Yeah, just matter
It's
degrees.
pretty-
like
pretty
where I really
intense.
like something, she's like, not, or just
Never gotten to a
Right.
point where, like, I don't know you anymore.
No. No.
I don't know who
No.
you are.
Ishtar.
The only one I remember, there was a years ago there was a comedy with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell called The Other Guy.
Yeah.
That I thought was hilarious. She did
Dumb as
not
hell.
like it at
No.
all.
So
Didn't like it at
funny.
all.
So we disagreed on that.
Yeah.
You know what? And I'm good. I'm with her. Only because I wanted it to be. I love the premise, and I wanted it to be so good
Yeah, I just
because
thought-
I love all the premise. But it started to bother me right out of the gate because,
And it just dragged on. I'm like, oh, why am I still watching this movie?
yeah.
Yeah, we disagreed on that one pretty.
A little bit. I mean, horror movies. I give horror movies a much wider berth than he does. He doesn't like. I like all of them, every one of them, and he does not. If they're dumb, he doesn't want to see them. If they're bad, he doesn't want to see them. And I'm like, yeah, come on, give it up.
You're like, no, meow, meow.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly.
I wish sometimes I could be the fly on the wall while you guys are watching and dissecting movies. All right, so Tar. All right, let's go. Oh yeah, let's go to this one. All Quiet on the Western Front, which I thought was an amazing.
Oh yeah.
Amazing
Oh,
film.
yeah.
Did I watched with subtitles? Did you watch in English or
No,
No,
always
subtitles,
subtitles.
never
always
subtitles.
subtitles? Johnny, you watched.
I went subtitles because
You went-
sometimes I want to see the visuals. I don't want to glance at it.
You don't want to glance down. You want to see what's
I wanna
going
see
on.
it all. I wanna
You want to
see it
see the picture. Yeah.
Although they're pretty good. The guys who did
No,
it
it's a
was pretty
great
Great.
movie.
Yeah, unflinching,
Yeah.
Yeah.
gritty, grim. There are no heroes of war. This is war
No.
is hell.
Here's my
for
worry.
the entire thing.
So, given it's got like 10 nominations, and so you should go, okay, so at least it's going to win Best International. My worry there is that Aslan was nominated for director and screenplay, so fewer nominations, but Triangle of Sadness, I'm afraid is going to win Best International
Yeah.
when obviously All Quiet on the Western Front ought to.
Yeah, that's
Well, to
You
be
think
honest,
Triangle and Sadness is
Decision
going to
to
win
Leave
international
ought
over
to, but-
All Quiet on the Western Front?
I'm afraid that it will. Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Oh wait,
in
no,
our-
it's not.
It's not in our
in
discussion
English.
tonight.
It's in English.
it
Never
is.
mind.
And that's funny because even
I've
though they were in
I've gotten
German,
confused.
Yeah, it's in English.
it was on Netflix. So it's very, very American
Yeah.
film to me. It seems like because it's right up there with
Oh yeah.
Stranger
And
Things.
it's a film that has it's a source material that's been
Right,
adapted
right.
many
Oh,
times.
yeah, there's at
it
least
won
2 other
the
times,
Academy
yeah.
Award back in the day.
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they
Back
first.
in the 40s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was.
But it's
So to
because it's
take-
really a timeless
It's
and
one,
beautiful.
one of those
piece
early ones
literature.
where they hadn't given out that many Academy
Right.
Awards yet. I think it
Yeah.
might be like in the the first 5.
Yeah.
so to take some source material like that and breathe some new life into it is another really a stroke of genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could get effects and best cinematography as well.
Cinematography was
It could.
fantastic. Yeah.
All right, but it's not going to win Best Picture.
No.
we know
No.
that. And I did not see the only person in this room who finally gets to talk in length is Greg Hansberry, is the one who saw Avatar: The Way of Water.
Oh, thank you.
Greg,
Also, the guy who says he didn't like the one that's going to win all the
Yeah.
awards too.
you have the floor, my friend.
Well, I took George's advice. He says if you go see it, go balls out, go big screen,
All of it.
IMAX, Dolby, everything.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah.
Inject it
3D.
into my eyeballs. Yes.
And I agree with everything that George and I had talked about ahead of time. The plot was just no better than any other action or Marvel movie you might see. But there were at least 2 occasions where I literally laughed out loud of how amazed I was with what I was watching.
Yeah.
It was mind blowing.
It was technically amazing.
yeah, yeah.
I think we disagreed on this too because I don't think she thought that the technical aspect was enough to recommend it. Am I correct?
No.
Yeah, I did.
We finished that movie. So all of the Lord of the Rings movies, right? George would
Right.
not go under any circumstances. So I reviewed every Lord of the Rings movie because he would never, and I would think,
Whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
he wouldn't go.
those are great movies,
Back up.
Yeah,
Have you never seen them, George?
Why?
He's never seen one.
Why?
He just
I don't like. I remember having to slog through some of those books in school.
The slog through
they
the Tolkien
bore
books?
the crap out of me.
So
funny.
as we were finishing the
no
Avatar,
interest
of course,
whatsoever.
he's made $1 billion. It's going to be late. I said to him, "This is my Hobbit. I am no way am I sitting through another one of these movies. Never again. I don't care if I'm a film critic. I'm not going to these movies. So no, I wouldn't recommend it. I mean the performances.
So why did he get into this list?
Well, hold on, real quick, just to jump on that point. The only other movie I saw probably in the past 6 months was last Friday night when I saw Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
We both loved it.
So my point is
Yeah.
you're right. Like I
So
knew
you're a snob. You're an art house
I'm
snob.
an art house snob. I
Cocaine
knew going
Bear.
into it like this is a movie. It's an event movie. I wanted to go. I went, and made a big thing about it.
If it
And
had
you're
been
right,
2
you're right.
hours long,
Yeah.
that'd have been fine.
And you're right. It was way
and
too
the
long.
thing is, it needed to trim an hour.
It did.
It
could've,
repeated
yes.
scenes
Yeah,
over and
yeah,
over,
yeah.
repeated dialogue over.
Right.
And I'm like, why am I still watching this thing?
Yeah,
scene?
the storytelling was a problem. I did
Yep.
think
Trim
that
an
the
hour.
the
Yeah.
technical wizardry was enough to
yeah.
recommend it if you're going to go
I
with the
see-
IMAX the whole bit.
Well, but
the
to your point now,
storytelling
if
was
you're going to
weak.
watch it on your phone or at home now, it's like, don't worry
Just
about it.
go
You
see
missed it.
Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah, which was awesome.
Yeah. So no, that would the Avatar would not be in there if we were doing the picking.
No.
And again, I mentioned earlier that 3% of America has seen any of these movies
Mm-hmm.
we talk about, but Cocaine Bear came this close to being number 1 at the box office
Yes.
over the weekend.
Yep.
And then once again, based on the hype machine and the fact that a bear ingests cocaine, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
no matter good, bad, or indifferent.
That
fun
is
as
a
hell.
movie that understood the assignment.
Yeah, right?
Right.
And
You
again,
know?
And Elizabeth Banks was the director.
Yes, she
was.
Who's a good director.
Yeah,
She
she's
is.
good. Yeah,
people were,
she's
were
Elizabeth
were
Banks was the
clapping
director, and
and
she's like,
cheering and
this might
laughing.
ruin my career.
It was fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It was very Rocky Horror Picture
Yep.
Show.
She
that
leaned
way.
It was
into
super
all
fun.
of it.
Yeah.
The blood, the drugs, gimme.
Yeah.
Gimme.
The other thing I know ahead of time, I had seen maybe your headline or something about calling it a slasher film. I was like, oh
No, George told me it's gory as hell.
and it is. It's a slasher film.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we see all the horror movies. I'm telling you, it's got more carnage than any
Yeah.
horror film I've seen this
Oh
year.
yeah.
No.
guts.
and
Oh
not
my
even-
God,
yeah,
yeah.
I can't
Limbs
wait.
and
I
guts.
can't bears.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's very fun. And when
It's fun
it
movie.
has an
The kill count
incredible
is up
cast,
there.
though.
Date night.
More
and
limbs than I've ever seen removed in my life. It's fun.
this cast elevates everything though.
It's
They're
fun.
so
Yeah.
funny. The comic timing is perfect. Yeah, it's very fun.
And you don't have to wonder, hey, what's that movie about?
Right.
You know what you're getting. going
You're
into.
in.
You see
can-
the
you can
trailer,
actually
man.
go
Like
through
snakes
the middle
on
of
a
it.
plane.
and
Now,
listen to
the
that.
only
What's it
problem with it,
What's it about?
now we have to deal with all the imitators that come.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I've already seen
Crack
Meth Gator.
Cat and
I'd see that one.
go see Crack
I
Cat.
did Crack Cat.
And I think the people that made Sharknado, Hansberry,
yeah,
didn't
for
you
sure.
tell me that?
They were the
The
Meth Gator?
Meth Gator.
Oh,
Meth Gator.
man.
So, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Seize the moment.
Yep.
All right. We kind of went off the boat there for a second. All right, big pictures. Avatar. We just mentioned Avatar. Another big picture. Top Gun, Maverick.
Oh, yeah.
Which I finally watched.
Wow.
Finally watched after
Now-
all the hype, after everybody said, "Oh, this is what going back to the movies is all about." I enjoyed it. I
Yep.
did enjoy it.
That's the one you just mentioned. They understood the assignment.
Yeah.
This may be the all-time champ for understanding
Oh, yeah.
the assignment.
Yeah.
Holy moly! Did it deliver
Yeah.
on what it promised
Mm-hmm.
and what it? It took the Star Wars, the last trilogy of Star Wars idea to sell the movie, sell the original movie back to you. I mean, it recreated the volleyball scene.
Yeah.
It recreated the scene where the instructor is walking up through the students, and they, oh no, it's that person,
Yeah.
and they sell it back, but you buy it. You buy all of it. I mean, and
Because you want to.
you want to
Remember this
want
scene?
to.
Remember this? Remember
exactly,
want to.
and they do it in such a great way. You take away that first 20 minutes. Some of the dialogue
when they
is
introduce
painful.
they're
Painful.
playing pool and they introduce the
Dude.
rest. It's so bad.
After that,
I can't say, but it had
was
no right to
enjoyable.
be as good as it was. It had no right, no business being that, but it was.
But it was.
I
You
saw it on
enjoy
an
it.
airplane on my
I
phone.
enjoyed it.
You
yeah,
enjoyed it.
yeah.
You enjoyed
And
it.
I can say what
Cruise's work ethic.
I feel. I think we both agree. It's a better film than the original.
oh, it is.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a better
By a
film.
wide
I will
margin.
give you that.
It's
I
a
will
better
give you that.
film, and it just solidifies. No matter what you think about him personally, Tom Cruise is the epitome of a movie
Yeah,
star.
There you
I've
go.
always said
He
that.
is a movie
I've
star,
always
and
said
yet
that. Yep.
I say this reluctantly. He has put in over the years some fine acting.
He has.
Oh, he's
Yes.
great
He-
in Magnolia.
yes.
He
He's
has put in
amazing
some
Magnolia.
fine
I
performances.
cannot, but he gets it. He gets
He-
who he is, what he is,
Yeah.
and when he has the opportunity to do something out of that
Yeah.
Mission Impossible mode, and
No,
and
he
so
is a
forth, he-
bona fide
he can
movie
do
star.
it. He can
Yeah.
do it.
Kind of a weirdo,
Spielberg-
but okay.
Spielberg
Yeah.
thanked him for saving cinema. So
Yeah, it's well.
Yeah, well, I mean, he had a conscious decision to make. That movie was in the can and done.
he
and
hung on to it.
and they could have
They released
streamed
it,
it.
yeah.
They could have
Yep.
done what everybody else was doing.
And he came
because
out.
he gets to do that because he's Tom Cruise.
He's got the
like,
clout.
no.
And he's got even more now.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't
All
like
right.
that
So
movie.
does it
Well,
does,
it's
does
not
it does,
very
does it
good,
deserve
but
to be in
it's-
this top 10
No,
list?
no, it
No.
doesn't. But
No.
it doesn't. But I knew it would be.
You
In
totally
fact, I was betting on. To be honest, I think we bet like $1. I thought the director was going to get nominated. I really did. That was
Okay.
not going to shock me at all. But I knew it was going to get nominated for Best Picture for sure. For sure.
Well, when there's 10 films, I mean, you have a little bit of leeway, but still, we agree that there are other films that
Oh
probably should have
yes,
taken,
for
yeah.
sure.
taken
Yeah.
their place. Okay,
Yeah.
now we're getting down to the nitty gritty, if you will. I know how you guys feel about Elvis, at least how one of you feels about
It's got no
Elvis.
business
Uh-huh.
being on that
Elvis.
list.
I
Do
love
you
that
like?
movie.
All right, let me ask you this: do you like Baz Luhrmann films in general?
I
Did you
do-
like Moulin Rouge?
I love Moulin Rouge, yeah. And that's, for me, the height. That's his top film for me. But, I thought to myself, if there's any person who
And Baz
could-
Luhrmann not in the director list.
Yeah, well, I didn't like the movie, so of course I don't want him in the director list. But
So it's
I
your
thought if
fault.
there's anybody who could withstand, I thought Elvis Presley. Now that's a perfect subject for a Baz Luhrmann. I'm like,
Right.
yes, because it'll be nutty and it'll be, and then I get the whole time I'm like, why am I so bored? Why is this not more Baz Luhrmann? Like it was to me,
Agreed.
it was
Was
too
it Tom Hanks as
traditional.
Colonel Parker?
No,
'Cause-
that didn't bother me at all.
Because he got nominated for a Razzie.
Yeah. I don't think that's fair.
I don't think that's
honestly,
fair either.
I think people don't know what Colonel talked like.
Right.
And so they're like, why is he talking like that?
They
but
thought that Colonel Tom Parker was Colonel, like
Southern.
Colonel Sanders,
Yeah,
Right.
Kentucky
right.
Fried Chicken guy.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I didn't love the choice to really run the movie's point of view through Colonel Tom.
Yeah.
Especially in a Baz Luhrmann movie.
Yeah, I just felt like it needed to be nuttier.
I agree. I would have liked to have been more balls to the walls, more Moulin Rouge.
Yes,
Than,
yeah.
than even it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Elvis is not.
Because when you take,
we know his
when you
story
take a-
too. It didn't divert.
Exactly.
divert
When you take a
very
mythic
far,
figure
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, it deserves. I
That's
go
the
back,
key word, mythic.
Yeah.
You go back
Yeah.
to the Elton John movie, Rocket Man.
Yeah.
Now there you go. That was a great. They found a great way
Vision
to tell
for-
his story in a different way that benefits that type of artist.
Yeah.
And that's why we dislike Bohemian Rhapsody so much.
I hated Bohemian
Even though it got
Rhapsody.
nominated, I thought it was terrible.
I didn't like.
Yeah.
Rami Malek. Okay, I realized again, biopics. You know,
It was just by the numbers.
Yeah.
I want to see something like Rocket Man.
Yeah.
Something where, or the remember they did the Bob Dylan movie years
Yes,
ago. I'm not
I'm not
here.
there.
Not here yet.
I'm not
Yeah.
here. fantastic.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Something different because these performers,
Wheelhouse, Bob Dylan.
these performers are so mythic. They deserve that sort of treatment. That's why we loved and we were so sorry not to see it nominated for Best Documentary. There's a David Bowie documentary this year called Moon Age Daydream.
Oh my God, it's
that is
glorious.
fantastic.
Oh,
it
it's so
finds
great.
a different way to tell his story, and it got
I wish we could
nuts.
get into the nitty gritty of
I
the
know.
awards and the
Nothing.
documentaries and
Nothing.
so forth.
Yeah, all
No,
that
but
Where we at? Where we at?
I don't. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting down to if there were a contest, I'm getting down to what I think would be in contention. So now we're done with Elvis. Now we get to the Fabelmans, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Oh, yeah,
I watched
sure.
it twice. Again, I will repeat myself. The fact that it's about a filmmaker and what was his inspiration and where that came from. The fact that he had a father who wanted him to go a different route. Paul Dano is
he was great.
one of the best in the business right now.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
Right?
agreed.
Yes.
Yeah, and his performance was fantastic.
It was.
It's another, and Seth Rogen was very good.
Seth Rogen was good.
Very good.
Yeah, it's a great ensemble, and I don't know his name, but the young
kid.
man that played Spielberg
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
was great. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
was
it's
great.
it's a great ensemble, and again, if there was going to be an upset,
No, there's no way. It's got no shot.
Yeah, no shot of
No.
upsetting anything.
So, yeah.
And I don't know if The Greatest Show on Earth, for those of you who haven't seen The
Yeah.
Fabelmans, I don't know if that was the first movie that Spielberg saw in the theaters,
Right.
but if he did,
That's
that
what he says.
made me want to rewatch
Yeah.
The Greatest Show on Earth, because I remember that when I read about my Oscar history, I remember that being debated and criticized because it won the Oscar.
Yeah.
It won the Oscar that year, and it was debated and criticized for not being the best picture that year. So it makes me want to watch it again. Because
Yeah.
I'm watching it. I'm watching.
Well, that's
them
happened a
watch
lot.
The movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. They did that back then.
that's happened a lot because every time they do, usually after the Oscars, some outlet runs an anonymous Oscar voters' confessions about why they voted or didn't vote, and it just makes you want to throw something at the wall.
Yeah.
And it just reminds you that this is not a meritocracy.
No.
It's so fun to get caught up in because we love it so much.
Yeah.
We want to argue about the nominations and we want to watch the show and argue about who wins. But there's so many factors that come down to why a human is going to choose one performance or one movie or another, and it can make you very mad.
Yeah.
because it's so subjective. But we're still going to keep arguing about it
That's
and talking
right.
about it.
And we come down to two. One of my favorite movies of the year is not going to win. The Banshees of Inisherin. I love this movie.
Yeah, so good.
I've said it. I love
I
all the
would be
performances. I love all the performances in it. I guess this movie, and it's personal. This movie affected me and had it touched me more than Everything Everywhere All at Once. Even though Everything All at Once did, especially as it started to wrap up and get there, and I like, oh, okay, yeah, I've experienced that, and I get that. But Banshees, and maybe it's because true friends are so important to me, and I guess that's one of my questions to both of you. When it comes to picking a best picture, do you let your personal feelings about life and where you've been and where you're at come into play when you're watching movies that speak to that?
Oh, when we're reviewing films, I'm sure it happens.
It's how they speak to you and how they touch you, because it seems weird to say considering the type of subject matter Everything Everywhere does, but the type of subject matter it speaks to. But Banshees is even more existential, I think, because it's an existential crisis that this Brendan Gleeson's character is having, that sets this whole chain of events in motion. As crazy and multiverse as Everything Everywhere gets, it just boils down to this crisis of life and fate that Brendan Gleeson is having that causes him to do this, I think is fascinating. And it speaks to, I can see how it speaks to you, us, on an intimate level. Yeah,
I think,
for sure.
you can't, to a certain degree, you're like, I feel really bad for Colin Farrell, but he's making a good point. every single day of his life is wasted because this guy just talks about his donkey all day long and he's not accomplishing anything. So you kind of feel bad for him, but you can't help. Your heart just breaks for poor Colin Farrell. It's just a beautiful, touching film. But also one of the things I really love about it, which I think you touched on, we see movies every day, all the time about a breakup, about a romantic breakup.
Right.
This is a movie about a breakup.
Yeah.
That's can be just as painful to someone.
Oh my God,
as
yes.
a relationship breakup. You know, it's like, and that is thing. I think both actors, but especially Farrell, nails that. You know, you liked me yesterday. Oh, did I? And I thought you did.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and then on a wider scope, it's about the breakup of a country.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you've got that civil war
Yeah.
in the backdrop.
Yeah.
That's just like you mentioned, just off in the distance.
Oh, yeah.
In the
It's
distance,
out there.
but it's there.
Yeah.
And it's affecting.
Yeah.
Because what's going on out there is either consciously or unconsciously affecting what they have here, which is so small and intimate that with all that bullshit going on over there, I really need this here. And if this goes away, what am I supposed to do?
Well, it's funny because I just read a great take on it that said it's a horror film because they are trapped on this island. There's nothing that they can do about it.
That's
you've
interesting.
got the woman in black who's the banshee.
Yes.
There's
Right.
suicides all over the place.
Yes.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And so and I think that, you know, I couldn't call it a horror film, but it's got that tension about it. Like it's almost doomed, right? This island, these
Yeah.
people on this island. And so you're just rooting for Carrie Condon, but you know, what's going to happen later? Yeah, I mean, I
you're
just think...
all
Oh, yeah, you're all fucking boring.
Boring.
That's
No,
my
man.
God. Great. All right.
No,
He
it's
loses
brilliant.
everything in the end. He loses his donkey. He
I
loses his
know.
Oh,
sister.
don't even
his
donkey.
sister. Loses his. You know,
Just the
God.
donkey. What donkey didn't really die? It was only for the film. But yeah. All
It was
right.
a tough year for donkeys.
It was.
It
It
was.
I don't know if you saw EO,
There's
but
a movie called
a
EO.
a lot
yeah.
of donkeys survived
A
movies
lot
this
of
year.
tough times for donkeys.
They had it coming. All
of
of
them
them.
eat the donkey. I don't get it. What's up with that?
And then finally, everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yep.
I'm gonna. When I watched this movie, I texted my friend Chris Beardman, who reads books on split universe
Oh, wow.
physics for pleasure.
Wow.
He actually has a split universe app on his phone.
Wow.
And when I saw this movie, I go, I just watched the ultimate Chris Beardman movie. And he laughed because his son had told him, Pop, you got to watch this movie. And he did enjoy the movie. And I'm gonna share some of the, I told him I was going to do this.
I want to know more about that sat, by the way, too.
Yeah. What does it do?
Right.
I'm curious about
Well,
that.
he said, a few days ago, my son told me to. I thought I would like it. Ha ha. And did you? Did you like it? I liked it a lot. Not a holy shit, loved it kind of thing. Was entertained and laughed, which is saying a lot because I don't laugh out loud at almost anything. The everything bagel thing.
Oh, yeah.
he
Oh,
loved,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's and this is me. It's everything you believe in, for crying out loud. And he said, I even have a universe splitter app on my phone. Ha ha ha.
Heard of
And
that?
this is me going, that explains a lot because he's out there. And then this is his long, not really long. You do have to wonder how your split matches up with someone else's. Is it a timing thing? All the conscious decisions made at that moment split? Is it based on proximity? What if you can't see in your new universe? What if what you can't see in your new universe doesn't exist? And like, I wrote back, I will mow that over for another time. For now, I'm just admiring the bold filmmaking. And we went from there. And I said, first 20 minutes in, I admit I was watching Everything Everywhere and all that. What the fuck am I watching? But as I stuck with it, I came to appreciate, like, okay, this is what bold
Yeah.
Yes.
bold filmmaking
Yes.
is all about.
You
this
just
is,
you
this
have
is-
to let it. You have to get immersed in it
Yeah.
and go
you
and
gotta
give
buy
into it. Yeah,
You
do.
have to. If you stop watching in the first 20 minutes,
Right.
I think you're doing yourself a disservice.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I loved it. I mean, I really did.
I did too.
You know, it's just joyous. It's you know, it's just a movie that you leave happy,
Yeah.
which is nice. It's it's a nice change of pace, I think.
And I think it's we talk about their earlier films. I think it's a case of visionary filmmakers just getting their legs under them.
Yeah.
A couple of movies that they got something here. It's almost there.
Yeah.
Here's where it
yeah.
where it came together.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what they do next.
When I forget if it was the main male or female died like halfway in. Spoiler alert! Sorry guys. I thought it was going to be almost one of those like choose your own adventure type of movies, where it was going to like go back and like do everything again with different shoots and splits. But
Great.
I was wrong.
So let's recap, shall we, from top to bottom. Picture.
West Side. So I mean, would you buy that? Did you buy it? Yeah. Well,
Everything Everywhere All at
Yeah,
Once,
I agree
yeah.
with that.
For
I
sure.
agree.
Director.
The Daniels.
The
The
Daniels.
Daniels.
Agreed.
And are they okay with that being called the Daniels?
I
Yeah,
think
that's
so.
how they
Yeah,
refer to
That's
themselves.
how they
Yeah.
like the-
Yeah.
All right. Best actor.
Brendan
Close,
Fraser.
but
yeah.
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, I think we're
All
going
right.
there.
Close.
Best actress.
Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle
Yeoh.
Yeoh.
Yeah.
Best supporting actor.
Oh, that's
Ki-Yoon Kwan.
Ki-Yoon Kwan.
Right.
Is that the biggest lock?
Maybe.
Probably the
yeah,
biggest
I
lock.
think so. Yeah.
All right. What do you think is debatable so far on this list? I mean,
Oh, I think the two.
the
well,
picture's not.
No, picture's not.
Director.
Best actor is close. I think Colin
Best actor
Farrell.
is close.
Yeah, I
And then best supporting actress is very
yeah,
close.
yeah.
All
Very
right.
close.
And best actress, we went with Michelle. Best supporting actor.
Yeah, Ki-Yoon Kwan. I don't
And
think
then
he's
best
got.
supporting actress is close. You said.
Yeah,
That's the one.
that's
That's
a tough
really.
Who's that
a-
between?
That's a split decision between Jamie Lee Curtis and
Angela Bassett.
most
Yeah.
beautiful woman in the world.
Yep. We were
Not Carrie. Not
No,
No, she has no
As
shot.
great as she was, I
I'm
know.
sorry.
I know. As
And,
great as she
it
was.
might be because I watched her in the last two seasons of Ray Donovan as well.
Oh.
Oh,
And
okay.
so-
And she was in Ford versus Ferrari.
She was.
She was.
yeah.
She was.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And and best original screenplay. You guys are
The
going
Daniels.
with the
Yeah.
Daniels
I
again.
go
No,
with that too, yeah.
I'm going with McDonough.
My McDonough.
Oh, you are. That's
Yeah.
right. Okay.
That's the only one that we're.
Here's where we.
So are you two split on that?
We
Yeah,
are
we're split.
on that
split.
one.
I like.
Split.
Well, you know,
On
you
that one.
you guys always split on something,
Yeah.
That's right.
but you never split for real.
On
which is
each
awesome.
other.
Which is
Well, I hope
awesome.
not.
Which is awesome because
It's
I
a
would
love story.
you know. No, it
Love
is a
story for the
It
ages.
is a true love story. You know what?
A truer love you'll never find.
I'm romantic in my as dark and as cynical as this heart may be on a regular basis.
True.
I embrace the fact that these two people watch movies 24/7, have been together since I saw that picture in
Yeah.
Key West.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, it was the tone was set from the first movie we ever saw together on a date, and that was Misery.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
How romantic.
You knew right
Put
then
us in
and
the
there.
mood.
That's right.
To misery, my friend.
To the hobbling.
That's right.
Wow.
Who loves company?
No,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I thank you both again, and continued success with Obstacle Corps.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's exciting. Yeah.
I love the fact that you guys made a movie that you wanted to make,
Yeah.
and would love to make, and know it has no chance of being on any of these lists. But
You gotta start
that
somewhere,
being,
right?
that
right.
being said, I know you're both smart, intelligent, talented people, and who's to say that somewhere down the line, I'm not sitting there across from you guys.
Or yours.
Right.
Yeah, you know.
Right.
Oh,
Right
yeah.
back at you.
Right back
Yes.
at man.
Yep.
We'll see. Wouldn't that be fun?
It
right?
would be.
Do you think we're gonna win? You think we're gonna win?
I'll vote for you if you vote for me.
All right.
Thank you again. It's
No, thank
always
you.
a blast.
It is.
Thank you to Gatto's Pizza for the pizza. We
Yes,
need some
very
more.
good.
And, I always pictured when we had Gatto's Pizza that we'd actually be eating pizza while we're talking.
It's kind of hard
But
to
it's
talk
hard
at
to
the
do.
same
It's
time.
hard to do. It's hard to do.
Chip and
It's
I
hard
have
to
been
do.
pounding some
The
over
drinking
here off
is
camera,
easy.
though.
There's no pizza left.
No.
There's plenty of the drinking is easy, but the eating is hard to do. The guest bottle, the Rebel Straight Rye whiskey, which Hope does not approve of.
There's not much left.
No, there's not. George,
I'm actually on my second.
Your second one?
Oh,
I think. I guess
I'm gonna judge by
she's
the
driving
almost,
home.
by the almost empty bottle that the rest of the whiskey business crew approves.
I really like it.
$19.99 a bottle. Thank you, Jeff Gage, for being our
Very
guest
good.
bottle sponsor. Thank you, George Wolf, Hope Madden.
What's
Thank
your
you.
social media, guys?
Yeah.
Social media, you can find the main website is madwolf.com. You can find us on Facebook. It's Mad Wolf Columbus. On Instagram, it's Mad Wolf Columbus. And on Twitter, it's at Mad Wolf.
2 Ds.
2 Ds.
You
And
see
your
how it's done,
podcasts
Chip? That's how
are?
it's done.
Podcasts are The Screening Room
Yes.
and Fright Club, just
Right.
about horror movies.
Fright Club.
Yeah,
Yes.
Fright
And
Club.
I saw on Facebook you have a post or an episode up now about shitty movies that Oscar.
Skeletons in the Closet.
This is
Yeah,
our.
yeah,
this
yeah,
this
yeah,
also
yeah.
ties in with our favorite time of year, the Oscars. Every year, as soon as the Oscar nominations comes out, Hope assembles a great list of all the bad horror movies in the past of these nominees.
Yeah, yeah.
And we call it Skeletons in the Closet.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
And
so,
that is
for
our
example,
current
Angela
podcast.
Bassett starred in Critters 4.
No way.
shit.
Of course she did.
Because everybody that's a big star
Oh, yeah.
has a bad horror movie in their past.
I know that Jennifer Aniston.
Oh,
did
Tom
Leprechaun.
Hanks.
What was Tom Hanks' bad?
He
movie?
knows you're alone.
Oh, I gotta
What
look
is
that one up
that?
right now.
Oh, yeah, we could have done, we could have done all of them, really.
Yeah.
You know, we settled on 5, the 5, which is really the 5 worst films. But, like, Jamie Lee Curtis could do a
Oh.
whole Skeletons in the Closet
yeah, just
podcast.
on
She
hers,
made
yeah.
a dozen terrible horror films.
So that's
it's-
the current Fright
yeah.
Club that's up now.
it is.
I
It's
love
a
it.
fun
I
one.
kind of dig that.
Yeah.
Prom night series?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
she was in the first one, Prom Night.
And we'll just tease an upcoming Fright Club. We just were lucky enough to get an interview with Mr. Bruce Campbell.
Speaking
Oh,
of
speaking of
Elvis.
Bubba Hotep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of
Yeah.
Hotep,
Yep.
because he's coming to town here in April for the
Bruce-O-Rama.
Bruce-O-Rama. He's coming to town.
What?
It's a combination game show and movie.
Oh, that's great.
He'll be in town, so we talked about
I
that
love
and some
him.
other things. So that'll be an upcoming podcast.
Yes.
I love him.
He's
So do
great.
we.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
we're big
great.
fans.
He talk
yeah.
about a guy who's had a nice long career.
Yeah.
Just
And he knows the assignment.
He
knows
does.
He knows the
He
assignment.
knows the assignment.
Knows
yeah.
the assignment.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll watch the Oscars. I have your picks. My pick. I'm not even filling out a ballot. I'm
And
just
we
gonna
didn't even
watch them
mention,
for-
we should plug, we're on every Friday morning on Good Day Columbus
Yes.
on Fox 28.
That's right.
Every
9
Friday morning at 9:30.
And I'm going to plug that George Wolf, whenever there are big movies to talk about, joins us on Sunday 95
That's
in the
right.
morning as well. You're going to be talking with us later this week about Creed 3.
Creed 3.
Yeah, which will be out by the time this podcast drops.
Wait, now I'm in another multiverse.
I know, right? Right.
Gotta lock that time in.
I'm excited about Creed 3.
Yeah.
Have you seen it already?
I have.
Uh-huh.
It's good.
Oh, good. Thank you. I hope so because I love the first one. Second one, I accepted, but the third one I was kind
Yeah,
of like,
it's
okay,
a solid trilogy. Yep.
okay.
Jonathan
Good.
Majors is great.
Jonathan Majors. Oh,
Yeah.
so
I
good.
love him.
I do too.
He's
I love him.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I love him. I have not seen Ant-Man, the latest Ant-Man yet.
He doesn't get
Meh.
a chance to do
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah.
But just in the trailer that I've seen with
he
Creed
tears it
3,
up.
it's
He's
like,
on fire,
oh my
man.
God, this guy is a badass.
He is.
He's gonna give Mr. Jordan a run for his money.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, well, there you go. So when you're watching this next week, maybe we'll cut this part out. We're babbling. I just love having you guys on. Thank you so
We
much.
love to be on.
we
Thank
do.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We could go on a little bit further. We haven't even mentioned Marcel the Shell with shoes on.
Oh, loved
It's
it.
actually,
we loved it.
this is such a great year for animation. The animation category this year is
Pinocchio.
spectacular.
Pinocchio is
What's
great.
going to win, Pinocchio or Marcel?
I think
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
Guillermo, they got to go with Guillermo.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
They've
it's
been
a
making brilliant 40
magnificent
years.
movie.
But it really
But
was a good year. You also had Turning
all of
Red.
the nominations are so great.
Turning Red.
I love the Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots was
and
great.
which was
Good.
the other one? Was it Sea Beast?
The
Sea
Sea
Beast.
Beast.
That
I watched
was
Sea Beast.
so
I watched
great.
the Sea Beast.
That was the sleeper.
I
was
captivated
so,
by that.
I
Great
was
year
so
for animation.
surprised that
Great
it made
year.
it. I was so happy about that.
I love that.
I love all 5 of those
I came
movies.
across it by accident.
Yep.
And I just
That
started
studio-
watching it.
Great.
That studio, that animation studio is fantastic.
Yeah.
Everything they put out.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
My only problem with and Sea Beast is one of those like
Go to the-
everybody's
pull the pin
the
and
animation
throw the
is
animation
almost
bomb.
starting to look like real people.
Yeah, sometimes it does.
it's,
yeah.
it's so close.
Yeah.
It's so close.
It's unnerving.
All right.
The uncanny valley is closing in on everyone, and the uncanny valley is no longer going to be a valley. It's going to be a crick, a little crick in the backyard.
Crick.
A crick.
All right. We got to wrap it up. On behalf of our video producer on this side, John Whitney, thank you for being on this side of the camera.
I didn't talk
for a
much.
change.
You're so knowledgeable, John.
I didn't talk a lot.
No,
You're probably the most
needed to
knowledgeable
chime in.
person.
Right, you
here.
got your Angela Bassett bona fides in there, right?
Yeah,
Right.
you chimed in when you were
You
supposed to.
love
Yes.
no, it was
No,
Michelle
Michelle
Yeoh.
Yeoh.
I'm
Michelle
sorry,
Yeoh.
Michelle
And
Yeoh.
your triangle
Super
of
cop.
sadness, and your triangle of sadness validation.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he was concerned that you two movie snobs would go the other way.
No.
Dina, wouldn't you just
Right
say
there
he's
with
so
you.
knowledgeable?
He's so knowledgeable. Thank you to John Whitney. You
Thank
can't
you.
see him this week, and I know my
Hello,
friend,
hello.
I know the Andreessens are going to be disappointed that you weren't on camera this week,
My one
Hansberry,
fans.
because they love you.
You're so cute.
Yeah, you're so cute. They're going to be
I'll
upset.
send you a headshot.
And Chip, thank you so much.
Either.
You were not on
Thank
camera
you.
this time either.
I don't have a following or anything.
But you did the business.
That's
you-
right.
The horrible
He
business.
attempted the business. You want to give it another shot as we close out?
Hey, don't forget to check us out on all of our social medias. We are on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. WhiskeyBusiness.pod is the
No!
No!
Yeah, it's nothing about pod.
WhiskeyBusiness.pod.com.
That's it.
So close.
Pod.
So close.
Thank
My-
you. Oh, who can forget our friends at Evergreen?
And Evergreen. We did
Oh,
not mention
shit.
Evergreen. Oh, my God. The
our
people
wonderful
that
friends there that have
yeah.
really uplifted the whole whiskey business family.
they have actually increased our viewership and listenership in
Nice.
a big way.
Thank you.
They really have. So thank you,
saved it.
Evergreen. My name, for whatever it matters, is Dino Tripodis. And until the next bottle, see ya. Hey!